Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going back to 1983 and looking at the Christmas holiday classic movie, A Christmas Story, starring Peter Billingsley, Darren McGavin, and Melinda Dillon. There are so many great Christmas movies that one might call classics. Miracle on 34th Street, White Christmas, and It's a Wonderful Life, of course, are all widely loved. But there are a number of movies that came out in the 80s and 90s, including Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, and of course this movie, A Christmas Story, which in my opinion is a masterpiece and probably my favorite of the bunch. So I wanted to dig a little deeper and find out whatever happened to Peter Billingsley, the actor who played Ralphie. The first thing I ever remember seeing Peter Billingsley in was a line of TV commercials and magazine ads for Hershey's chocolate syrup that ran in the early 80s, where he played a kid known as Messy Marvin. Now, our family typically used chocolate powder to make chocolate milk, but the commercials for Hershey syrup always made me wish my mom would buy that instead. Then in 1983, Billingsley was cast in what would become one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, well, at least in my opinion, A Christmas Story, based upon the stories of Gene Shepard from his book called In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, which was published way back in 1966. Now, I could still remember the night I went to see this movie with one of my friends. I thought it was hilarious, and Peter Billingsley was so good in his portrayal of Ralphie. The scene where he drops the lug nuts that he's supposed to be holding while his dad is changing a flat tire, and then yells, "Oh, fudge!" Well, that is just pure comedy gold in my opinion. And of course, his scheming to try and make sure he gets a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas. Well, what 12-year-old kid didn't want a BB gun? I sure as heck did. As a side note, Bob Clark, who directed A Christmas Story, well, he already had another Christmas movie under his belt. That was 1974's Black Christmas. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that movie now, but if you like horror movies, this film starring Olivia Hussey, Margot Kidder, and John Saxon is quite interesting, and it's guaranteed to give you the chills. So, back to Peter Billingsley. After the success of A Christmas Story, he appeared in a few made-for-TV movies, in addition to a couple of feature-length movies such as 1985's The Dirt Bike Kid, Ruskies from 1987, and Beverly Hills Brats from 1989. But it was his role in the CBS School Break special from 1990 called The Fourth Man that may have had the biggest influence on the direction his career would go from there. For it was in this production that he formed a friendship with Vince Vaughn, and it was through that relationship that he would later become good friends with Jon Favreau. In fact, Billingsley even made a cameo appearance in the Jon Favreau-directed Elf in 2003. And he was an executive director of the 2006 Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston comedy, The Breakup. He also had a small acting role in that film as well. In 2008, Billingsley was an executive producer of the Vince Vaughn Christmas movie, Four Christmases, and once again, Billingsley would make a cameo appearance as an airline ticketing agent. Then, in 2009, he directed his first major motion picture, Couples Retreat, a film in which he would once again be working with his two friends, Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau. I've got to say, I think it's really cool that this young kid from New York, who first got his start in television commercials for Hershey's chocolate syrup, then rose to fame in a classic holiday movie, and has been able to stay grounded to reality and continue to have a successful career in the movie business, whether it be directing or producing, or even the occasional cameo. It looks like he's having a heck of a lot of fun doing it. What are your thoughts? Do you remember the Messy Marvin commercials from the early 80s? And what about A Christmas Story? Where does that movie fit in with all the other classic Christmas movies? And were you even aware of Billingsley's later career work? I look forward to reading your comments. Also, I would be so grateful if you would consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I mostly make videos where I talk about music, TV shows, and movies from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there and have a great day.